In this video, we're going to show how to make choices have an impact on story variable values so that decisions matter beyond simple branching. One of the biggest criticisms of choose your own story adventures is that you only have the illusion of choice because choices don't truly branch, and different paths often funnel back into the same storyline, making decisions feel insignificant. On NovelCrafted, you can tie choices to story variables so they truly impact the playthrough. In our story, we're tracking three variables: Mara Kincaid romance, perception, and intelligence. As a reminder, to view your story variables, hover over Author Admin menu and click Dashboard. Find your story, click Edit, then scroll down to Story Variables. Let's put these story variables to use. Click Graph to open the story graph. In our example story, we've built out the Mara Kincaid chapter path. In Chapter 2, readers choose one of three options: investigate on your own, visit Mara Kincaid, or visit Commander Sato. We'll attach variable impact changes to each choice. If the reader chooses to visit Mara Kincaid, let's increase their Mara Kincaid romance score by 10. Right-click on the arrow for Visit Mara Kincaid. In the pop-up menu, click Edit Impact. In the Mara Kincaid romance text box, enter 10. This means 10 points will be added to whatever the Mara Kincaid romance score is at that point in time. Click Save. If the reader chooses Investigate on your own, let's increase their perception by 5 points. Right-click on the Investigate on your own arrow. In the pop-up menu, click Edit Impact. In the perception text box, enter 5. This means 5 points will be added to whatever the perception score is at that point in time. Click Save. Let's subtract 5 points from Mara Kincaid romance if the reader chooses to visit Commander Sato. Right-click on the Visit Commander Sato arrow. In the pop-up menu, click Edit Impact. In the Mara Kincaid romance text box, enter -5. This means 5 points will be deducted from whatever the Mara Kincaid romance score is at that point in time. Click Save. Preview the game as an author to see the effects of those choices. Click Restart to start a fresh game. At the bottom left of the screen, notice that the story variable scores are at their default values. Let's go to Chapter 2. Make a choice and see what effect it has on our story variables. Click Next to go to Chapter 2. Choose Visit Mara Kincaid. You will arrive at Chapter 3 Mara Kincaid. Look at the story variables at the bottom left. You will see that 10 points were permanently added to your default 25 for a total of 35 points. Click back to go back to Chapter 2. Notice that your choice has been locked in and it is no longer possible to select the other choices. Let's restart the game and try the other choices to see how they affect the story variables. Choose Investigate on your own. Look at the story variables at the bottom left. You will see that 5 points were permanently added to your default 75 for a total of 80 points for perception. Restart the game and this time, choose Visit Commander Sato. Look at the story variables at the bottom left. You will see that 5 points were permanently deducted from your default 25 for a total of 20 points for Mara Kincaid romance. Let's go back to the graph. In the Chapter 2 interlude story branch, we have a chance encounter with Mara Kincaid and 2 subsequent opportunities for dialogue. Let's assign choice impact values to those dialogue options. For the hostile dialogue options, we'll assign a -2 value to the Mara Kincaid romance story variable. The neutral dialogue options will remain at 0 change. For the positive or friendly dialogue options, we'll assign a 5-point story variable increase. Notice that both the Mara Kincaid and the Investigate on Your Own story branches merge back together in Chapter 4-1. This is where the story variables really shines. In Chapter 4-2, there is a confrontation with unknown assailants. One of them will attack Mara with a knife. It's a tense situation, and we give the reader 3 choices. 1. Shove Mara out of harm's way. 2. Try to take the knife from the man. Or 3. Try to tackle the man before he reaches Mara. The way to ensure Mara is safe is to shove her out of the way, but we only want to give the reader that choice if they have been nice to Mara. Right-click the choice to shove Mara out of harm's way. Select Lock Choice. For the Mara Kincaid Romance section, select Check this value. In the dropdown, make sure it says greater than. In the text field, enter 34. This is telling the NovelCrafted game engine that the reader will only have this option if their Mara Kincaid romance story variable value is greater than 34 at this point in time. This means that if the reader had chosen to visit Mara Kincaid, they would have to choose either a neutral or a positive dialogue option in Chapter 4-1 to qualify for this choice. Or if they chose Investigate on Your Own, they would be required to choose both positive dialogue options in order to qualify for the choice to shove Mara out of harm's way. Let's restart the game and see how this plays out. Choose Mara Kincaid. This raises your Mara Kincaid romance score from 25 to 35. Here in Chapter 4-1, if you choose the hostile dialogue, 2 points will be deducted from your Mara Kincaid romance score, dropping it to 33, which is not high enough to save Mara by shoving her out of the way. Select the negative dialogue to see what happens. The option to shove Mara out of harm's way, which is the guaranteed way to keep her safe, is unavailable. Let's add a little more excitement for our readers. For scenarios that are tense, we can put a timer to limit the amount of time readers have to make a choice. Click Graph to go back to the story graph. Right-click on the story node where there is a tense situation. In our example story, it's Story Node 4-2. Select Edit Question. You have an option to set a timer on the question. You also have an option to warn the reader that there will be consequences to this decision. Use both options and select the 1-minute timer. Click Save, restart the game, and navigate back to Chapter 4-2. Now you can see the timer and the warning. If the timer runs out and the reader has not made a choice, the NovelCrafted game engine will automatically choose the first available choice. You can also tell the game engine to choose a specific choice when time runs out. To do that, click Graph to go back to the story graph. Right-click the choice you want the NovelCrafted game engine to choose if the reader does not make a choice. Select Edit Choice and check the checkbox that says, if the question has a timer, do you want this to be the default choice? This will now be the choice that happens if the reader doesn't make a choice. For a little extra fun, you can reveal the choice impact to the reader for any question you want. Let's show readers that choosing to visit Mara Kincaid in Chapter 2 results in a +10 to the Mara Kincaid romance story variable. Find the story node where you want to reveal the impact of a choice. In our example story, it's Chapter 2. Right-click Chapter 2 and select Edit Question. Check the checkbox that says, do you want to reveal the impact of the reader's decision? Click Save. Restart the game and choose to visit Mara Kincaid to see what happens. You now can see a one-time message that tells the reader that their Mara Kincaid romance level increased by +10. And with that, we are all done. Great work! You now know how to use story variables to make powerful and compelling interactive stories by assigning impact values to choices, locking choices, and adding fun gameplay elements like timers and other clues that hint at a more sophisticated game than the traditional choose your own story adventures. Good luck in your writing journey.